Hello everybody, Crackshot Tactical here today with a beautiful specimen, a custom-made VR-80 made by Rock Island Armory in a perfect olive drab green. Before we get started today, I'd like to ask anybody who feels like they enjoy this content to please subscribe. I am trying to grow my channel, and if we do, I can probably get us more exotic guns, more fun videos, maybe even branch out into different topics. And with all that passed, let's get started. Quick overview of this beautiful shotgun. It is a heavyweight champion weighing in at nearly 9.5 pounds. For reference, most AR-15 style rifles only weigh around 6.5 to 7 pounds fully loaded. It is in a beautiful olive drab custom Cerakote green. There is no discernible machining marks. All of it feels perfect. The iron sights are actually really good for, being stock iron sights. We even have the beautiful pew no pew selector that is canted, of course. Really nice. On the other side here, we have both a AR-15 style bolt release and a just rocker charging handle, and the controls are ambidextrous as well. But to barrel, it is 40 inches, which is also massive considering most AR-15s fully extended are only 35 inches. And the chamber is 3 inches, which is, pretty average. It's pretty good. My personal opinion, might be a little big. The barrel, I don't know if it's considered free float because the gas system is actually in there. It is a direct impingement gas system, in case you didn't know. I'm not entirely certain if it's considered to be free float, but the handguard is free float, technically. With all that out of the way, let's get started on the disassembly. Now, you probably don't know, but this gun is kind of weird with the disassembly. I actually love it, though, because it's kind of... I wouldn't really necessarily, it's just unique, and I love the way it feels whenever I do that. I gotta lock the bolt to the rear to ensure it's safe. Now, the weird part of it is if, I want to disassemble it, I have to twist this off. This end of the barrel thing, this is not a muzzle device. No, this is threaded. It holds the handguard in place, and it basically just holds it there. This is like a retainer pin for my Mossberg 930 or the SA-20. It's very similar to those two. You see, it's nothing. The ports are not real. Just the whole thing is fake. It's fake news. But with that, I can pretty much just slide off the handguard. Literally just like that, and then the whole handguard comes off. The handguard is incredibly light. It's super light for being made of actual steel. It's not polymer, it is steel. Most of it is metal, minus a couple of the internals, but most of it's metal, and that's what I like about the gun. Now that you've slid the handguard off, it's like your functioning system of your gun is entirely exposed. And I love about this gun is, it's super weird. It's a gas impingement system. It's the exact same thing as my Mossberg 930 or the SA-20. Go check those videos out if you don't know what I'm talking about. Except, instead of underneath the barrel, it's on the barrel. This is the barrel. It's around the barrel, which is kind of a neat concept because it makes the gun smaller, so you don't have to have that underhanging part. I really like it, but it's just a little weird, so don't freak out. Whenever you disassemble it, this is your gas block. This is the retainer nut. It basically just holds the gas block in place, holds it firm. That's the direct impingement ring, and those are the sliders right there. That pushes the gun back, basically. It pushes the bolt back. Begin disassembly, just unscrew this. Now, whenever you unscrew this, whenever you unscrew this and pull this back, this is just your standard nut. Pull this back, put your hand right here. There's these two little things. They hold the gas block in place. They look like they're broken. I swear to you, they're not. I know what it looks like. It's not broken. It scared me too the first time I said it. I'm like, geez, did I break it on the first shooting? No, I did not. You slide that off. As you can see, this is caked in carbon because just the way it works. This gun is very, very dirty. Just the way I like it. And then you just slide off the impingement ring, which is also disgusting and encrusted in carbon. And you slide off your slider, which is less encrusted in carbon, but still pretty nasty. Now I'm just going to commence with the cleaning of the outside of the barrel because that's just the operating area and it's really gross. But you guys will never guess what I got. Actual gun cotton. No shot. I know, right? It's crazy. So now I can actually use this instead of frickin' paper towels to clean out the barrel and the gas system. I also got a Remington brand of bore cleaner. I really like this. It's called Rembor. I've used it before, It's pretty reliable, in my personal opinion. It doesn't have a yellowish tint of sulfur like the other cleaner does. There we go. Yeah, see? Look how nasty this is. That's just the gas block. Imagine the inside of the barrel. The oil I use breaks down carbon as well, no matter how long it sits. So that's also why it does it. Before I finish cleaning this, I will oil it because I'll dry off all the oil cleaner first and then I'll oil it. I clean the whole thing. See how nasty those are? Those were white. Those were white. You guys saw that. Those were white. Now they're just tar black. Nasty. Now I'm gonna keep going with the gas assembly because that is also disgusting. It is in direct contact with the gas system and the gas, so it's gonna be nasty. Take several if you need, but I'm gonna just do this real fast. Oh my. Yeah, that's pretty gross, in my personal opinion. I do say that is pretty nasty. Like, these guns, they're dirty. That's just the way it works. Especially this kind of gun where it's hard to explain, but I don't know why. This gun is the dirtiest gun out of all of my guns. All of them. Except for the Model 57, but that was because it hadn't been cleaned in 20 years before I got it. So, there's that. Should you clean off this backsplat? And whenever you're cleaning this, look at it, see if there's stress fractures in it. Because this right here, you don't see it yet, but this is a light load thing. You read that right there? Light load. There is a heavy load that comes with it and the rest of the kit. I don't have it here because it's inside and I'm not going to get it. But if you're shooting like deer slugs, then you need to change this out. The other one has holes in it right here and actually looks quite a bit meaner than it. Looks like it's, it just looks mean. And here we go. I have the gas block cover here. This one's probably going to be the dirtiest of all of them. Yeah, there we go. Jeez. Looks like a coal miner blew his nose. Look at that. Disgusting. My favorite. And if you see my clothes during this video, just know that if the short hasn't come out yet, like I was just filming it before this, so that's probably why. Yeah, there we go. It's nasty. I'll move on to the retainer ring, which is not going to be as disgusting, but it's still going to be pretty gross. I probably won't need as much of it. It's going to be gross. That's just the way it works, but it's not going to be as nasty, you know. See? Not that bad. But like anywhere, it's just going to be, if it's going to be in here, it's going to be gross. That's just the way it works. This is so well oiled up, though, that I don't think, no matter, like, for a while, it's not going to jam. I've done a really good job of maintaining this gun. I love it. It's my baby. I'm probably going to go deer hunting with it this year. Clean off your 2 retainer rings. Do not drop them. They will disappear forever. I swear. I lost one while I was cleaning it the first time I got it, and it took me like an hour and a half to find it. It was awful. But they should be pretty easy to take care of. With that done, let's move on to the bolt carrier group. I almost forgot the slider. Don't worry though, I didn't forget it entirely. Just do literally the same thing that I just did. While we're doing this, I'll talk about the ergonomics of the gun. The ergonomics, like, I love it, but for some, like, because I'm a left-handed shooter, I'm ambidextrous, but I prefer left-handed for long guns. So, it's not bad at all, by no means, but if you're a right-handed shooter, it is the bastard child of an AK and AR. Excuse my language, but I just have to use it. It's accurate. It's just because the charging handle, it's on the wrong side, but like it's still AK-ish. Especially if you take off the big rubber stop I have on there. I put it on there because the other charging handle, I just don't like it very much. But like, it's hard to explain. The ambidextrous controls definitely help, especially for somebody like me who's a left-handed shooter. But, dang. The issue is, whenever, like, if you train vigorously with an AR, then do that. Like, then do the AR reload, because you have the AR style bolt release. But if you don't, like, if you train with an AK, you can do the other type. But if you haven't trained with either, or just have no training whatsoever, and you go look at it, you'll be like, oh, which one? And you won't be able to decide. And then you'll get shot and you'll die if you're reloading. But I doubt any of us will ever experience that. Yeah, hopefully. I pray you never have to experience that. But let's move on to the upper receiver disassembly, and let's get started. The upper receiver is actually very similar to an AR-15 pattern rifle with the pop-out retainer pin. Really, really hard to get out, I will say so, but you have to let the bolt forward, and then you got to push out the pin. Really not easy to push out the pin. Usually you have to get a spare shell casing or something. So I popped it out off camera just because I had to shift my grip on it and I don't want my face on the camera. It's actually really difficult to pop out. I'm literally using the cap or something, and I'm trying to pry it because it's super hard. It's super difficult to get out. Like, I don't understand why though. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult. Where's my? There we go. Let me try this. Actually, this thing actually, I don't think it came with a cleaning kit, so it was very difficult. There we go. See, got some give there. Jesus. I don't remember it being this hard. Man, I'm getting old. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now that that's done, I literally can just lean the thing forward and just see all the internals. The hammer is cocked right now. You'll notice the hammer is a weird shape. It looks like it's backwards. I do like this because like the trigger is super crisp. I'm not entirely certain why that this is a design choice, but like it works. It works really well. Now that I've gotten the pin popped out, I'm gonna change camera views here real quick, and I'm gonna take out the other pin. So the other pin came out a lot easier, believe it or not. So I just have to kind of, there we go, pull on it. This one is a retained pin, so is this one. They're both retained pins, so you don't have to worry about them falling out and losing them forever. If you've ever cleaned an AR-15 incorrectly, you'll know the pain and struggles with that. And this should just come straight out. We're going to worry about this in a moment. And for now, I'm going to worry about the lower receiver. To give you a little bit of an insight on the trigger group, this is the hammer. If my camera will focus, back there is the sear. Prevents it from going full auto. There's not really anything else in there. It's pretty straightforward. But if you watch, which I'm going to have to get my camera out of the way of the hammer so it doesn't break my camera, but I'll turn it off and I'll dry fire it. This should not damage the firearm, believe it or not, but you'll have some FUDs telling you it will. Now watch, you'll see the sear kind of rock back. See how it rocks back there? You see the whole thing in there. And whenever the gun comes back, you're pulling down the trigger, you're pulling down the trigger, you're pulling down the trigger. The bolt will come back, and if the sear is back there, which is, it's really hard to show you with one hand because I'm recording with one hand, but the sear will prevent it from going full on. Anyways, on with the cleaning. To begin, I'm going to use I have my gun scrubber up here. I like this better for this kind of situation. Should be pretty easy to use. I'm going to take it, because I don't even need to disassemble this. I just take it in there, and you see that pouring out. It's not going to be an issue. Preferably, I don't get it on the rest of my stuff, but I did like an idiot. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to hurt it, but it'll drip down eventually and evaporate. I don't think it's made of hydrosulfic acid, so it won't kill me. But that should clean off most of the carbon, if there is any in there, which there shouldn't be, but if your gun has a malfunction, it could. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to kind of clean out the inside, turn it on safe so that the sear doesn't bite me, which I've had happen before. Not incredibly fun experience. I'm just going to get it in there, just clean it a little bit, and then I will purposely fire it, drop the hammer forward so that I can clean behind the hammer. And if you look at that little hook there, I don't know if you can see on camera, yeah, that little hook, that hooks into the sear so that you can't go full auto. It's a really, really cool mechanism. If you ever look it up, like, there's a couple videos I recommend, but they're kind of shady. So, like, I recommend you look at a couple different videos if you're really curious to see how this works. If you're going into a gunsmithing school, I highly recommend you learn how to sear work, because if you don't, and you create a gun, and without a sear, you'll create a full auto that will likely not be able to be controlled, which I don't really want for you, because I like you alive if you're watching my video, but if you're going to be illegal, it ain't my problem. And then this is a buffer tube as well. This gun is buffer operated, kind of like an AR-15. That's why I said it's the child of an AR-15 and AK, controls wise. Anyways, that should do it for the lower receiver. I'm going to move to the upper receiver now. and just clean that out pretty thoroughly. Alright, now I'll start disassembly of the barrel. I'm not really going to worry about this part very much because I've already gone through that. And really there isn't much disassembly to do here, it's more cleaning. You can do a full disassembly of the bolt. You can even take the charging handle, which is on this side, and move it to the other side. You'll notice I took off the rubber stop to show you guys what it looks like. It's okay. Whenever it's under spring tension, it's difficult. I just like the bumper stop better. But to start, I'm just going to lock it to the rear. I'm going to get my bore scrubber because this is literally the bore. And I'm going to clean it like so. Or miss it entirely. I'm going to just do that real fast, and I'm going to just clean in here. Should be pretty easily. Should come pretty easily cleaned because it's not super dirty. Now, if you look, there are rails on the side of this here. Like this one right here. Camera focus, please. There we go. It's like this on the side of this here. They're on both sides. Clean those out vigorously. I guess while we're here, I can show you how the bolt works. Focus, please. There we go. Yeah. So what you do is, whenever this comes forward, it takes the bolt with it. And if you look, it's coming forward, coming forward, coming forward. It hits a certain point, and I'm going to focus the camera again so you guys can see it. Or not. There we go. So you can see that the bolt's in place, but it's not locked up. And whenever I push this forward a little bit, it locks up, and the prongs come out the front so that it can function. To continue, let's just continue with this. Pretty simple. I'm just going to make sure you clean out the rails specifically. The rails are probably the most important thing to clean out. Just give them a good scrub. Shouldn't be too incredibly dirty, but they're going to be pretty dirty. Not as dirty as the rest of the gun, but pretty dirty. Clean out the bolt face, because that bolt face is going to be pretty nasty. Bolt face, under part of the bolt. And there's a feeding tray in there, little groove. This thing. That thing right there. Clean that out pretty vigorously. And then lubricate it when you're done, because that's where the ammunition comes up. And if it's not lubricated, your gun will jam horrendously. Trust me, I know. And with that, let's get into cleaning of the barrel. Now, I would love to show you how to disassemble the barrel, but there's a little Allen key here. And you'd think that's how the barrel comes out, but it's actually not. There is the Allen key uncovers the way you get the barrel out. And it's this really weird screw that I'd never seen before until I used to work for a buddy who owned a firearm LLC. And whenever whenever customers wanted their gun, the barrel switched out, if it was worn out or broken, they would send it into us because they didn't have the tools. There's a special tool that you need, and it's super weird looking, and I just don't have it on hand, and I don't plan on getting it on hand just because it's not really worth my time. So let me find my AR-15 cleaning kit, and we can start with this. I'm going to pause the video so I can actually find it real fast. Yeah, I didn't find the AR-15 cleaning kit, but I did find my old 12 gauge cleaning kit, which will work because I don't really need the the super precise picks and brushes that are in the AR-15 cleaning kit, but I do need the bore rod, which, screw it, it'll be pretty easy. I think 2 should work. Yeah, that'll work. All right. So, in essentiality, this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, man, no! Well, I dropped that. Anyways, in essentiality, this is just cleaning all other 12 gauge. Don't, because this thing comes exclusively in a smoothbore barrel. Keep, still try to be careful and not scrape the insides, because that can cause, major damage to the gun. I've seen it happen before. Very unsafe. But do try, just don't be too careful, because if you get super, paranoid, I think is the right word, that you're going to break the gun, then you won't clean it correctly, and then it's just no fun for anybody. So, with that in mind, just don't be an idiot. Pretty simple, but if I do say so myself. I seem to be missing parts out of my 12 gauge cleaning kit. That's cool. Now I have to pause recording. So it turns out none of the kits I have actually have hook-ons that fit. So I'm going to have to do some professional tomfoolery, and I'm going to have to basically just push it all the way through without a hook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these Don't ever do this. Don't try this at home. This may damage your gun. Now open the action. I'm just gonna push it through, and this hurts me more than it hurts you watching, trust me. I don't like doing this because it's dangerous and can get stuck in the middle of the gun. And just kind of push it all the way through. Yeah, cool, right? Okay, I kicked the bipod. Now look at this weird pattern. Notice this is from, like, the way the shot pulls out, basically. It's a weird phenomenon. I've actually seen it before, but I'm just going to keep pulling it all the way out. It should be pretty easy. I'm going to have to do it. This is going to be more difficult, but I do suppose you can do this if you literally have no other way to clean your guns, but I would personally suggest not doing it. And I think that should be about good. Notice that it's not that dirty. It's because it's just already poured some stuff through it. I would let you look through the barrel, but you can't really. It's difficult. I can kind of see through it just by holding it to the light, but it's more difficulty than it's worth, truly. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to begin with reassembly, but first I'm going to take my rem oil, trusty, and I'm going to lube up the area a little bit. Should be pretty easy. I'm just going to spray a little bit in there. Shouldn't need too much. So that trigger group is pretty much it. I'm going to lube up the bolt carrier, not the bolt carrier, I'm sorry, the pins first, and then I'm going to lube up because the pins were hard to, I already lubed up the buffer tube, but the buffer spring is also a big part and part. I'm going to lube up, now that I have this here, I'm going to take this, I'm going to spray it, first I'm going to spray it in here with the bolt carrier back. See that in there? I'm going to run it forward. Because that right there is a little port, that little port, I like to get it in there because that will prevent it from seizing up. I'm going to take it from the bottom. Make sure to get that feed tray in there. If you don't get the feed tray, it'll get nasty. There we go. And I'm just kind of getting the general area now. There we go. Alright. And now, just going to put it back together. Simple as that, right? Wrong. It's going to suck. Just hang on. So the hard part about this is getting both pins in correctly. If you don't get them in correctly, they're not properly aligned, they don't want to function. This pin should go in pretty easily now. It might not though, just because it doesn't like me. Hold on. Let me get around the other side of the bipod here. There we go. Alright, see? Oh, see that lube paid off a little bit. There we go. Alright, now that's all reassembled. Alright, now I'm going to move on to barrel reassembly. I'm going to take my lubrication. I'm going to spray it on each and every part. First, the bumper thingamabobber. Get these two pins right here. Pins are important. Yeah, I'm basically out of rem oil. That'll be my next Real King trip. Anyways, all the way back. I'm going to lock the bolt to the rear for ease of access, if I can. Okay. Hold up. There we go. So, now that that's done, this should be on there pretty easily. I'm going to lube up the whole slide as well. Yep, there we go. Now, the bore scrubber's already evaporated off. Whilst I was taking my sweet time to talk to you guys, I'm going to take my locking bolt, my impingement bolt. Let's give it a nice, generous spray of lubrication. It seals on there quite nicely, all the way back until it's touching that. Then, gas block bolt right here. A little bit of lubrication on the inside ring, not really the threads, those aren't really needed. But the inside ring is where it interacts with the impingement ring, so I'm going to put it there. Then, whilst that's there, you take your two. Remember these things that I told you not to lose? Yeah, I hope you didn't lose them because they suck to find. These two things, clean them off a little bit. They don't really need any lubrication, but they do need to be there. Yeah. They are difficult to put on. Fear not. Once you get them on there, though, you won't really be able to remove them. Take this, your retainer nut, slide it onto there, over top of these two, and then take your gas block nut, and screw it into that. Whew. Screw it on there, and that should keep the whole thing working. Hold on, I'm gonna do a demonstration. Yep, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to just take this. I'm going to shift it back so you can see, so the camera can see the rest of the gun. Yes, there we go. And I'm just going to take this, and I'm just going to slide it on like that. Perfect, kind of, not really. Oh boy. So it's kind of delicate because it doesn't. It's kind of difficult to put on there. There we go. There we go. Now once it's flush with the rest of the gun, I can slide it back here a little bit. Take your fake muzzle device thing and just screw it on there. Throw it on there. It will click. It will not strip, probably. So just screw it on there hard. And just keep screwing because it's gonna, don't let it bottom out on the handguard because the handguard still wants to move. And just screw it in. You'll hear that clicking noise. It is normal. Don't worry about it. And that handguard is pretty firm now. I'm gonna prop it up a little bit and screw it in just a little bit more, so I'm confident the handguard will stay in place. If it doesn't, then my hand will be exposed to the hot metal of the action. There we go. And that is a clean VR-80. And that about wraps up this video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you need any advice on firearms, hit me up, message me, hit me up in the comments below. I'll help you out. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you like this content, I suggest you check out the rest of my channel and maybe even consider subscribing if you really like it that much. But I think that's about it. Till next time, Rock Island Tactical out.